Hey, IDS 301. Welcome to Module 3. We're rolling now, huh? It is Sunday, January 23rd, and it's all about 1:50 in the afternoon. Let's take a look. I wanted to just start with some housekeeping, as I call it. Make sure your posts and your discussion boards and things are long enough. And I don't say that just to have you do make work and fill in sentences and add words and stretch things out. It is intended to demonstrate academic rigor, okay? So demonstrating academic rigor is very important in your college class, right? Okay. Um, and doing so, I want to say this, capitalize disciplines. Start getting used to that. Start giving the disciplines the attention they deserve or the respect they deserve. So use, like if it's history, a capital H. If it's business, a capital B. That's when you're referring to the discipline. If I'm talking about the business down the street, then business is lowercase. If I'm talking to you about the academic discipline of business, then it's capitalized. I want you to try to step up your game with that. Um, you know, interdisciplinary studies, it's capitalized, both words. Anytime there's a studies, both words are involved, okay? If it's psychology, capital P. Sociology, capital S, right? Entrepreneurship, whatever is the discipline you're talking about as a discipline, okay? So try to remember that. What do I have here? Oh, when you enter a link, when you paste a link, okay, you got to hit enter right after that or return to hot link it, okay? Because in some of the introductions, I saw you just copied it and skipped down a line, and the link just sits there without being hot and live, so people can click on it and boom, they get taken there. Or even better, when you do that, you're embedding it, and it probably will show up as a square. If yours doesn't show up, go look at some other people's and see why theirs does. They have no secret. It's just that you didn't hit enter. Do that anywhere for anything, okay? I talked about academic rigor. That's really important. That means, digging deep, challenging yourself, me challenge you. So if there's some kind of assignment where you just decide to write about what you already know, what you already experienced, and you may think it resonates with the course or the material or the assignment, but if you're not showing me that connection, then you're not utilizing or demonstrating academic rigor, okay? Now, for me, if I'm not demonstrating academic rigor, this is the time I go through all these classes that I'm just starting on teaching again or redesigning from somebody else, and there are mistakes. Just let me know. I'll talk to you about them, okay? Whether it's in a quiz, whether it's anywhere that you see a conflicting info, a mistake, and I'll fix it, okay? So Easter egg number 1 then is capitalize the disciplines or capitalize disciplines, okay? Not the word discipline, but capitalize disciplines, okay? I want to be really clear on that because I've gone through this and I've seen students say, oh, I just got to capitalize the word discipline. No, you're missing the point. Capitalize disciplines, okay? It's like same as capitalize last names, capitalize first names, capitalize disciplines, okay? All right, so let's take a look at Module 3. Remember that all assignments are due at 11:59 p.m. Arizona time on the due date. Remember, according to the syllabus quiz, according to my videos, according to the syllabus itself, according to things, due dates, I keep them very firm. I want them to be respected and to continue to have you show that, that you're invested in the course. Okay, I know some people might prefer a self-paced course. This is more or less, but it's still designed to be done in 7.5 weeks, okay? Tanner Chapter 1, let's get into it. Chapter 1 and Chapter 2 in Tanner, good stuff. I will tell you, we are just talking about this in our curriculum meeting. Chapter 1 is about 10 pages. Chapter 2 is about 7 pages. Okay, my God, it's like an elementary school reader. But you're going to start learning about interdisciplinarity and integrative learning. So chapter 1 is defining integrative and interdisciplinary studies. And that's through objectives, key terms, concepts, and getting into those disciplinary points of view that we're going to go heavy on this module. In chapter 2, we're going to talk about history of interdisciplinarity. Okay, so you're going to learn about going all the way back to early civilization, Greek education, medieval education, 17th and 18th, 20th century. Okay, so it's interesting to give you a foundational knowledge of this field. Okay, again, I take you back to the fact that, like me, you're going to have people ask you, interdisciplinary studies, what is that? And you need to have an answer or feel confident that you can provide an answer in your own words, okay? Using the words that you've learned, right? So I think it's important to read those for only those 17 pages, okay? Then you're going to get into the materials, which I will go to. Let's see, that's 300, there's 301. So let's go to learning materials, and you'll see you've got Meath, an article attachment by Meath. Interdisciplinary studies, a matter of definition. This is very important. This is what's going to tell you what is and what is not interdisciplinary studies, right? Interdisciplinary. It's one page. Yes, it kind of looks like the old-fashioned mimeographed copy of something, but Richard Meath, this is a very primary foundational material. It's going to talk about intradisciplinary is probably not featured here much. That's just one discipline. Remember that we said just looking at. I take history, boom, one discipline. It's got its concepts, got its theories, got its research methods. Okay, and then he'll talk about cross-disciplinary. Then he'll talk about multidisciplinary. Oh, here we go. I didn't get much sleep last night. Then you talk about, I said, intra, cross, multi, then interdisciplinary, that's us, then transdisciplinary, okay? Very important to know those terms. It's extremely important, okay? So familiarize yourself with that. Then you'll get into Humphreys, why integrative learning? And that's 2 pages, very simple reading, not even 2, it's less than 2. Discusses the nature and value of integrative learning. Why? Why integrative learning? Very good to know for your own arsenal, your own toolkit, your own foundational knowledge. Then we'll get into the pyramid, okay? Now the pyramid is something we've kept around. Well, it's called the interdisciplinary pyramid. My idea it should be the disciplinary pyramid, but it looks like this if you download it, right? So what you have down here is, now it is hierarchical here in terms of that. Doesn't really mean importance as much as it means just need to apply the right disciplinary perspective. So let's see here. So I want to open it up a little bit here. There we go. Okay, so I dumped some Coke Zero on my monitor, and that's what I got now. Anybody know how to fix it? Let me know. I'll give you a really lot of extra points. Okay, so you got intradisciplinary, intra being one single discipline, right? Looking at, okay. Then you've got cross-disciplinary, viewing something from a point of view of one discipline through the eyes of another one, okay? The mathematics of music, etc. You'll see more examples. Then you've got multidisciplinary. Am I seeing these all correctly? Yes, multidisciplinary. So you got more than one discipline, 2 or more disciplines looking at something, okay? All right, I'm going to study, civil engineering but also sustainability, because I think those two have to kind of, you're doing research on a new freeway. Yeah, we got civil engineering, but we got sustainability. Okay, that's multidisciplinary for at least 2. Then you got interdisciplinary, which is the same as multi, 2 or more, but what's the difference? Integrated. So you got civil engineering and sustainability, but you're looking at them in an integrative way. And to do that, we'll discuss it down the road, but you're talking about identifying commonalities between the disciplines, conflict between the disciplines. I mean, do they have conflict, commonality? Where can they bridge and communicate with each other to develop that integrative thinking that leads you to a solution to the problem as opposed to separate things, okay? All right, then on top, you've got transdisciplinary. Transdisciplinary goes beyond the disciplines. It includes stakeholders, okay? Chamber of Commerce, business people, individuals, victims' families, things like that, okay? And it takes the problem and it takes what it needs from any source. Like I said, whether that's a chamber of commerce, whether that's a law enforcement agency or what have you, okay? Learn those, all right? Be clear on those. Now, to give you another view of that, how do I shrink this again? Oh, here it is. Okay, I'm gonna see where, I gotta close this thing. Come on, there we go. And minimize. So looking at the approaches, so you talk about disciplinary approaches. We're talking about, yes, we just talked about that, but what does that look like really in a conceptual basis? So take a look at this other handout you're going to have. So an intradisciplinary, you're taking one discipline, looking at the problem, the artifact, whatever. Cross discipline, you're taking one discipline to another discipline and you're looking at the problem, right? Am I doing those backwards? I'm upside down here. Oh, it's discipline on top, discipline. Okay, it's discipline on top. All right, so this one you got multidisciplinary. You got disciplines looking at the problem, but they're all separate. The difference here, of course, in interdisciplinary is the disciplines must be integrated before and during the research of the problem. Then transdisciplinary, the problem kind of sits in the center while the useful disciplines or stakeholders are on the peripheral there, okay? I hope you're understanding that a little bit. Let me plug back in here. So now, God, I almost freaked out. I thought, did I start this video? I guess I did. Okay, so then let's move on to, it's hot in here. The discussion board. First, let's do Easter egg number 2. Easter egg number 2 is disciplinary perspectives. Disciplinary perspectives. I want that as kind of a meme so you remember that, okay? Now, you don't have to write these, but I want the meme that is, intra, cross, multi, inter, transdisciplinary, okay? All right. The discussion board is going to use the disciplinary approach pyramid, okay? So what we're going to try to do is do a discussion board here. And again, it's very important. Remember what a discipline is and what it is not, okay? All right, can you go to college to get a degree in doctor? No, because doctor is an occupation. You get the degree in medicine or what have you, okay? Can you go to college to get a degree in architecture? An architect? No, an architect is an occupation. Architecture is the discipline. Please be aware of that. Do not skip the disciplines. That's the most important part of this. An occupation or a profession is not a discipline. All right. Similarly, a politician is not political science. In fact, a politician may not even have studied political science. He may be a community leader, someone who ran for local office and got in. That's great. I'm saying we're differentiating here. So you want to think of the disciplines first, then you can bring them into an occupation, okay? Very important. So I read about that here. And what you're going to look at is 5 different prompts. You can number them, okay? Now, what I'm going to do is I want you to try cross-disciplinary. It's the hardest one. Rarely people get it right. But I am going to kind of give that as a free one. Do what you can with that. If you get it, I might give you extra points. So pretend that, okay, we're talking about mass shootings, domestic terrorism, okay? Pretend that the U.S. government has decided to put together a committee of scholarly experts to examine this growing problem from a variety of perspectives. What might an intradisciplinary committee look like? Okay, add an example. You don't have to go overly thorough here, but I want you to demonstrate to me that you know what you're talking about here. So let me give you the cross-disciplinary one. Okay, a cross-disciplinary committee would represent scholars from a single discipline. Okay, and now remember, they're looking at mass shootings. Okay, so here's what they're going to do. They're going to be a bunch of psychology scholars, so psychologists, but psychology scholars. They're going to look at domestic terrorism and mass shooting through the discipline of religious studies. Follow me there? Psychologist, professional from the psychology discipline is going to look at domestic terrorism, mass shootings through a lens of religious studies. It could be a lens of economics, but it's one for another. That's what I'm giving you, that one, okay? So you want to do that with all these. You want to say who's on your committee, okay? And then you don't have to go in elaborate fashion. Just have the discipline and the profession if you want. Then talk about how they're going to look at this particular problem. This particular problem. Some people change the problem automatically and start looking at climate change or something. No, this one, okay? All right. So it's challenging, but it lets you know that, it lets me know and lets you know the difference between these now. You can articulate on that. That's important in my opinion. Okay. Even though it's only worth up to 30 points to the main post, 5 each one, this is a good exercise. Okay. And then respond thoughtfully to at least 2 of your classmates. Okay. Not going to hold you down to words, but I want more than a few, just a paragraph. Okay. All right. I'm not doing word limits on this one. This is very clear. Number your prompts. It's a discussion board. So put number 1, do it, skip a line. Number 2, do it, skip a line. Number 3, do it, skip a line. 4. I'm saying this because I know how I see these things. Boom. Some people give me one long passage. Don't number anything. Just say, go through it and you find it. No, 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 no. That's like you go to a restaurant to order dinner and they just throw a bunch of food on your table and say, you find the dinner you ordered. That's a horrible analogy, I know. Okay, so there you go. And there you go. Okay, and that is due, I believe, on the 28th, right? With 2 responses. And remember, I do not accept late responses. Be a good peer in your class. Try to post your main post a little early if you don't want to do your responses so that people get a chance to look at things and respond. And not everybody waits till 11 o'clock on the last day and then, oh, I'm going to do my responses. That's just wrong. So don't procrastinate on that. All right, so now let's go to the quiz. The quiz is 30 questions, 30 points, no trick questions. You got 40 minutes to complete the quiz. That's like it's over a minute each one. They're not that difficult if you've done the readings. It should be a piece of cake for you. I don't know if anybody that's really had hard trouble with these quizzes. It's from chapter 1 and 2 of Tanner. It's from Meath and Humphreys, okay? What was I going to say? Of course, there's no multiple attempts. You can't turn it in late. Okay, no excuse. Got to get on time. That's due the 29th. That's a week from Saturday, yesterday. Now the Q&A. I took off the word essay because I don't want to confuse people. I know that was confusing. Q&A essay, you're like, do I got to write like an essay, like a narrative, or should I do Q&A? That's my fault. Apologies. And again, we go back to if you see something, say something. So it's like, what do I do? Let me know. I'll try to make it more clear. And I think I did that here. I'm just calling it Q&A. So you take your Word doc, you can copy these questions down, 1, 2, 3 in this case. It's going to be minimum 500 words. Now I counted the words in the question, there's about 25. So you need to write 475 words here, okay? I'm making you do that to demonstrate academic rigor. If I don't, people are going to write 40 words. I guarantee it. Not you. Okay, so now, citing materials from the course demonstrates academic rigor and will raise your score, maximize your score. Okay? So when you say, how would you describe an interdisciplinarian? And you go, I don't know, but I always thought it was somebody that, just worked in a lot of disciplines. That's all I thought it was. Well, no, that's not going to get it done because we just had a whole module here about interdisciplinarians and then to know what they aren't, that they're not multidisciplinarians, that they're not cross-disciplinarians, transdisciplinarians, or intradisciplinarians, right? And then you would say, how would you describe yourself as an interdisciplinarian? Hey, if you can find concepts or terms and everything from the book, from the readings, use those. I don't care if you bold them, that's fine. I'll see them easier, right? What are some of the important skills and abilities of interdisciplinarians? What are they? Remember that word that I've been using, that I use as Easter eggs, that when I see it, I believe it. I will literally do a control find and type that word, you know what it is, and I will look for it and see if somebody used it or not. Did they use it more than once? I hope so. You go ahead, have at it. That word can be in every sentence. Don't try to improve upon it. There are other ways to use it, but I'm feeling that if I hardwire you to the word integration, that'll stick. Okay. Now this is due next Sunday. Okay. So I believe that is it for module 3. Have I been demonstrative enough? Easter egg number three is pretty clear. I just want everybody to be sure that you be aware of the due dates. Okay, be aware of due dates. And again, I had a student in my face-to-face class last week admit it, which I know is true already. But so many students just wait and they look on their phone and and then they'll see like to go to the ASU app or whatever Canvas and they'll see what's due today. Oh, I guess I got to write a 3-page paper. Okay, I'll do it today. Come on. Oh, I got to read something first? I ain't got time for that. Okay? Don't skimp. All right? This is a 300 level course. You'll feel real good about getting through it and doing so successfully, which I have every belief that everyone will. If you're putting effort in this class, you should be able to get an A without much problem. Okay? That's it from me at about 21 minutes. I will sign off. Get a hold of me if you have any questions, comments, concerns. Forks up. Peace.